What's up, college football fans and Mean Green fans? Sonoy Valente here once again with the Mean Green Show today, joined once again with Ryan Davenport, and we're going to dive into this North Texas loss to FIU. But before we get into all of that, you already know the drill. If you're a fan of college football or G5 football, consider hitting that like and subscribe button because that's truly all that we talk about. Ryan, I hope you're doing well this Sunday evening. I know it's been a day removed. Thank you for jumping on, and I will just dive right into first things first, and we'll talk about QB stuff at the end as always. Defensively, FIU, they rushed for over 220 yards against North Texas, and previous to this week, they scored 14 against Maine and 17 against Louisiana Tech, Maine being an FCS school. So I don't know. I think this is Ryan, before I go forward a little bit, let me ask you this. Is it, for this season specifically, is it too early to hit the panic button for this season?
No, I mean, I think you're hitting it right now. I mean, I'm glad it's a day removed because I don't think you wanted to talk to me yesterday.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, tackling is something you have to practice, and it takes time, and there's not a quick fix for poor tackling. And this team, one of their biggest defensive woes is poor tackling, and some of that's effort. Gang tackling's a real deal, and when you're in a 3-3-5, everybody needs a run of the ball, and they all need to be tackling. And I don't remember when it was exactly in the game, but the running back had two guys dive at his legs, miss him, and then carried the DB into the end zone. I mean, that's just bad tackling. And so, Unfortunately, that's not going to get fixed this week,
Yeah, likely not. Maybe more so than the tackling. I'm concerned with the personnel choice that, the packages, the 3-3-5 scheme. And again, it's not Coach Capone's fault, but we've seen this so many times at North Texas, 3-3-5 not work. And again, obviously it can work at other places, and it could work here, but the personnel I don't believe is in place right now to run it successfully. And I don't know, I haven't heard reports from practice about this specific matter, but I mean, have they not practiced any 4-man fronts? Because there was times in this FIU game where it was just, man, I would feel better watching this if there was 4 to 5 people, with their hands on the ground, as opposed to the 3. And our linebackers, doing the most with what they're given, but I don't feel like they're the size of the linebackers need to be for a 3-3-5. I mean, when they push up on those guards, when they're showing a blitz, it's a real big size, differential there. So that's concerning. I'm really concerned, with what this defense can pull off for the rest of the season. I mean, La Tech is a team that North Texas is more talented than, but I don't have any confidence. I think we'll probably be underdogs, I would think.
Yeah.
So if they beat them, okay, great. I mean, that's good, but Navy and then all the ones coming up for conference play. But my closing thoughts defensively, and I don't want to make this too long tonight, is, do we think Capone is going to switch up some schemes, or is he going 3-3-5 this season just to get everyone on page and then are on the same page for next season? But if you go that route, how much are you risking as far as this season? How much are you trying to salvage? And then also, I think it's already time to keep an eye on this season while also having one eye looking at this recruiting class. And recruiting is not the same as it used to be. We do have some highly rated high school commits currently, on board. And I hope Coach Joe and everybody can keep them, on board regardless of the outcome of this season. But also, how are they going to approach the transfer portal after this season? I know Morse has said he doesn't want to live in it, but just wants to use it as a substitute. But I don't know if that's going to alter a bit after, the needs that may be there after this season. So anyway, I'm concerned with what they're going to do defensively. Maybe you can speak to this if you think they're going to start with any, different packages as far as men on the, 4-man, or do you like Capone if he does choose to keep it in this situation? But anyway, Ryan, what are your thoughts defensively?
So I think a couple things here. One, unfortunately, I lived this. We had a certain defensive scheme, certain offensive scheme, and we had a coaching change. And this was back in the Daryl Dickey coach Todd Dodge era. And I always thought, and I liked Coach Dodge, but I always thought that one of Coach Dodge's biggest negatives was he didn't evaluate his personnel and adapt his system to the personnel he had at the time and allow himself a couple of years to recruit. And that was always one of my knocks on him, despite thinking he's a great coach. And unfortunately, I think that's what'll happen here with Morris and Capone. Is I think they'll stick to their guns because they were hired to do this, and if they go away from it, it seems like they're abandoning their own system. And I would like to see them adapt a little bit to fit personnel, but I don't really know what we have anymore. I don't know who was in or out based on the changes. This was back in the old recruiting guard where you had to wait 2 or 3 years to bring in your guys, so to speak. And now you can go out and get people right away. And I think that's what's going to be interesting here is you're seeing other schools go out and get the people they need to compete right now. And I think that's what people are going to expect out of this staff is go out and get the people you need now. There is, unfortunately, no more giving a guy 2 or 3 years to figure it out. I just don't think that happens in today's game. So.
Do you, okay, 2 questions. 1, record prediction from here on out. 2, how many games do you think we're going to be favored in going forward?
1.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, maybe one more, because I guess we were favored in this game. So 1 more probably. And then record prediction, 2 wins, I guess. I hate to say that, but I mean, I've lived 1-win seasons, so it's not fun. And I do not envy those types of seasons. So maybe they can turn it around. I hope they do. I hope they look at who they've got. And I will say this, I'd like to see Coach Morris and Coach Capone say, what do we have to lose? Let's go out and compete and get after it. And, they are moving the ball. I mean, I was impressed in the second half. They were competing. They were going back and forth. But we got to stop some people,
Yeah, and kind of transitioning over to the offensive side of the ball. Mm-hmm. So there are some sparks, and I don't mean to be total Debbie Downer, but I don't want to go too heavy on the praise either, because again, this is FIU, who has not been a world beater, and they're 2 games in, and the product they've put out hasn't been anything off-brand from them. It was, this what we produce against an FIU team was off-brand for North Texas. Usually we save those kind of performances for teams like UNLV, but anyway, not FIU. So anyhow, first half, Stone Earl comes out. Doesn't look like all things are firing, for him. It's not his greatest game. Going to the half, 20-17. North Texas was up, I believe, 2017. Yep. North Texas, mm-hmm. and conspiracy theorists and me, kind of seeing some things on Twitter. The report was that he caught a full body cramp. I wasn't necessarily buying that, but then I saw some other stuff that I do believe he did catch a full body cramp, and that's why they went with Earl. And had he not, I think they would, or that's why they went with Rogers. And had he being Earl not caught that full body cramp, I think they would have trotted him back out. So Rogers comes in second half, and Rogers goes 11 for 15, 201 yards, 2 touchdowns, and looks the part. Again, I don't want to go too heavy on the praise just because, again, this is FIU. So, but he looks the part. And, small shout out to Attaway. I know Matthew Bruni did that as well, but he had a touchdown, and that was really good to see that happen for a guy who's come back from a lot of injury. So, do you think there's another quarterback competition, or do you think Rogers is now the guy? What are your thoughts quarterback wise? And you can, save that for the end if you want, but also just thoughts offensively as a whole.
Well, they looked better in the second half. The first half, like you said, it looked disjointed. It looked like they were off. Stone Earl is a competitor, and he ran the ball well, and he kept them in the game, and they had the lead at halftime. As far as the full body cramp thing, I'm not going to get into whether I believe it or not, but I was a guy who suffered from. I had a couple of those in my playing career. If you have those, I mean, these guys, you're getting IVs. I don't know why this wasn't. It's weird to me that it would happen right as he's walking out, and then that speaks to conditioning. And we're in South Florida. Why are we not ready to play? Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know that. It's odd to be happening second game of the season when we've had a camp and everything else going on. But that being said, maybe he did have it and maybe it's a fluke deal. I'd be giving the guy an IV at halftime to stop that from happening if he's our starter. But I think that Rodgers played well, and I think he played it well enough to start the next game. I don't sit here and say that Stone lost his job as much as I think Rodgers played well enough to be given an opportunity. That was my thoughts watching the game. I'd like to see what he does starting a game, personally.
Okay, I'm just last question. No point prediction, nothing
Right.
like that. But what do you think? I mean, do you think North Texas is going to Ruston, a place where it's been hard, seems to struggle there, throughout history?
It's a tough place to play.
It is. It's weird. Did you ever
Yeah,
play there?
I did. It's a
Yeah,
tough
it's
spot.
weird. I've been there. It's a weird environment.
So it's a bus trip. That's one thing you got to understand. It's a bus trip. So you're off because you're sitting on a bus for hours. It's far enough that it's not an easy bus trip, but it's close enough that you can't fly there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's humid. It's a lot like South Florida. It's a hostile environment. They do come out, and so it's a tough place. I mean, we lost there one year. We were in it, but I don't even remember what year it was. But it was a tough environment to play. Some years they were better than others. La Tech was, but I think it'll be hard to play there. But I would say it's probably a similar game to FIU. I think they're in it. I think they're competitive. But will they have enough to win? I think it depends on how much of it goes their way. And I think they can win it, just like I thought they could win the FIU game. But it'll just depend.
Okay. Well, as we move into this Morris era, it is, a dark time for us North Texas fans. When I got you to do this, I wasn't anticipating this much suffrage at the front end, but I appreciate you hanging in there.
I've been through it, man. I've been through it a couple times, so we'll be all right.
Well, we might be on the cusp of here we go again, but
Nah,
as always, go Mean Green. I appreciate it, Ryan.
Go Mean Green. Appreciate it.